You know, it feels like we've hit this bizarre point where if a tech CEO gets on an earnings call and doesn't mention AI at least 5 times, their stock immediately takes a nosedive. It's become this mandatory magic word.
It is absolutely the new corporate bingo. It doesn't matter if you sell cloud services or cat food, you have to have an AI strategy. We're seeing this fascinating shift where AI has jumped from the research lab straight to the centerpiece of quarterly reports.
Right? So it's not just about revenue or profit margins anymore. The new headline metrics are things like AI services adoption or AI powered search driving ad clicks.
Exactly. And what's really striking is how this is changing the very storytelling of business. A CEO used to say, "Our cloud business grew by X%." Now the script is, "Our AI capabilities are scaling rapidly. Demand is exploding." It's a much more dramatic narrative designed to get investors leaning forward.
But is it just a story? Is there any actual substance behind that new script?
In some cases, absolutely. One major cloud company, for instance, reported that their AI compute orders literally doubled year over year. That's not fluff. That's real, tangible demand showing up in the order book. It shows that while there's a lot of talk, there are also real dollars being spent.
That makes sense. But it also feels like there's this immense pressure on companies to adopt this AI narrative, even if their AI revenue isn't really there yet. What's driving that?
It's a mix of FOMO, fear of missing out, and genuine market expectation. Investors now see AI as the primary engine for future growth. If you're not talking about it, they assume you're being left behind. The risk is that this creates a huge gray area. A company can say its AI-driven ad clicks are up, but it's really hard to tell if that's actually translating to more revenue or if they've just relabeled an old algorithm.
So, how do you even begin to tell the difference? How do you separate the companies that are truly building something from those who are just, sprinkling a little AI dust on their PowerPoint slides for flavor?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question. It comes down to tracking the cash flow. You have to ask, is this AI adoption actually leading to higher subscription revenue? Is it lowering costs? Or is it just a vanity metric? If a company boasts that AI users are up 200%, but their overall revenue is flat, you have your answer. The narrative has to connect to the numbers.
So, while the market is clearly demanding AI narrative, the real challenge lies in discerning genuine AI driven value from mere buzz. This brings us to the next crucial question: how exactly is AI showing up in the tech stack, and what are the specific business models emerging to monetize it?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. We're seeing it manifest in about three distinct ways. You have the platform players, the application players, and then the hybrids who do both.
Okay, break that down for me. What's a platform player?
Think of them as the AI electricity company. These are the big cloud providers who are building the massive infrastructure. They sell access to their powerful models and the raw computing power, the AI compute that other companies need. Customers essentially rent this power, and that's a huge business. For some of these giants, their AI compute revenue is already growing faster than their overall cloud business.
Got it. So they're the utility. What about the application players?
They're the ones embedding AI directly into the products we use every day. Think of a productivity suite adding an AI assistant that can summarize meetings or draft emails, or an advertising platform using AI to optimize campaigns. One major office software company, for example, saw its AI assistant get used 1 billion times in just 3 months. That's staggering adoption.
A billion user calls in 3 months. That's not a gimmick. That's people actually finding it useful.
Exactly. It shows real product market fit, and this is where the monetization models kick in. For that AI assistant, it's often a subscription model. You pay an extra $10 or $20 a month for the AI features. For the ad platforms, the model is efficiency. One company reported their AI tools boosted ad performance by 15%. That translates directly into more ad spend from clients because they're getting a better return.
You used the analogy of platform players selling AI electricity. I like that. Can you expand on it? How is that compute rental model different from just buying software?
It's a fundamental shift. With traditional software, you buy a license and that's it. With the AI electricity model, it's consumption-based, like your home utility bill. The more AI you use, the more reports you generate, the more images you create, the more you pay. This is great for businesses because they can scale up or down as needed. But it also means costs can be unpredictable, which is a new challenge they have to manage.
It's clear that AI is not just a feature, but a fundamental shift in how products are built and monetized, creating distinct advantages for those who master these models. This naturally leads us to the competitive landscape. Who are the key players, and how are giants and startups vying for dominance in this rapidly evolving AI ecosystem?
You'd think it's just a game for the giants with their deep pockets and massive data centers, but that's not the full picture at all. Startups are proving to be incredibly nimble.
How so? How can a small startup compete with a $1 trillion company that owns the entire infrastructure?
They have what you might call the speedboat advantage. They can move incredibly fast. A big part of this is the rise of powerful open source AI models. A tiny team of just 5 people can take one of these models, build a clever AI writing tool around it, and suddenly they have millions of users. They don't need to build the foundational model themselves.
That's a great image. The speedboat zipping around the giant skyscraper of a corporation. But the giants aren't just standing still, are they?
Not at all. They're playing a different game. They're building the ecosystem, like an app store for AI. They own the platform, the cloud backend where all these smaller speedboats have to dock. This suggests a future where the AI tools we use might not be standalone applications. Instead, they'll just be plugins inside some giant's platform.
So it's like the relationship between app on your phone and iOS or Android. The app is great, but it lives and dies by the rules of the operating system.
That is the perfect analogy. The future of AI will likely be a layered ecosystem. A few giants will control the foundational layers, the big models, the cloud infrastructure, and then thousands of smaller companies will innovate on top of that, building specialized tools and plugins.
On one hand, that sounds great for innovation, with open source empowering small teams. But on the other, if everyone ultimately relies on the giant's backend, doesn't that risk centralizing too much power? Is that a healthy environment in the long run?
It's a double-edged sword. It fosters innovation by lowering the barrier to entry, but it also creates platform dependency. The giants are in a position where they are both the landlord charging rent for the infrastructure and a competitor running their own applications on the same turf. It's a complex dynamic that we're going to see play out over the next decade.
The battle for AI dominance is clearly complex, involving both direct competition and symbiotic relationships within a layered ecosystem. This shift in the competitive landscape inevitably leads us to a broader consideration: AI's profound impact on society, jobs, productivity, and ultimately how we should be investing in this new era.
Exactly, because this zooms out way beyond balance sheets. First, let's talk about jobs. Yes, repetitive roles like basic customer service or copywriting are at risk. But just like the electricity revolution, which killed some jobs but created entirely new ones, we're seeing new roles like AI prompt engineer emerge.
I've heard that term. It's basically someone who is an expert at talking to AI to get the best results, right?
Precisely. And then there's the productivity side. For individuals, AI is becoming a superpower. It makes you faster at writing reports, coding, creating presentations. I have friends who are managers who now say they genuinely don't want to write their weekly status updates without their AI assistant. It's already become that embedded in their workflow.
That's a powerful statement. It's not a novelty anymore, it's a dependency. If it's truly a superpower for productivity, how does that change things for the average person? Do we get to work less, or do the goalposts just move?
That's the big unknown. Ideally, it frees us up to focus on more creative, strategic work and maybe even reclaim some work-life balance. The risk, of course, is that the market just absorbs that efficiency and demands higher output. The 40-hour work week might not shrink. You might just be expected to produce 60 hours worth of work in that time.
And this all circles back to how we should think about it from an investment perspective. It sounds like the old rules don't apply.
They really don't. For investors, the game has changed. It's not about who shouts AI the loudest anymore. It's about who actually turns AI into cash flow. This is where the narrative revolution comes in. AI isn't just a technology. It has become the new language companies use to speak to Wall Street. But smart investors have to learn to be fluent in that language to distinguish real value from pure hype.
So if we were to try and tie this all together, it seems the first major point is that AI has officially moved from being a tech trend to the absolute core of the market narrative. It's a required talking point.
Right, but with a huge asterisk. The market demands the story, but investors have to be detectives to figure out if it's a story backed by real, AI-driven value or just clever marketing.
And second, the business models and the entire ecosystem are being reshaped in real time. We have this layered system emerging with giants controlling the foundation and startups innovating on top, creating this complex mix of opportunity and dependency.
Absolutely. And that leads to the final And perhaps most important point, this technological shift is forcing an irreversible change in our investment logic. We have to move beyond the buzzwords and focus on a new core question. Is your AI strategy actually making you money? The answer to that will separate the long-term winners from the shooting stars.
We've talked about AI's journey from the lab to the heart of earnings calls, how it's weaving itself into our tech and business models, and how it's reshaping the competitive arena. But the deeper reflection here is that AI's true power isn't just in the new products or revenue streams it can create. It's in its role as a general purpose technology, much like electricity or the internet. It's not only changing how we do things, but how we think about value, how we measure progress, and even how we understand the very structure of our economy and society. As we look to the future, the real question might not be what AI can do for us, but rather how we choose to steer this unprecedented force, ensuring it delivers not just economic gains, but fosters a more equitable, efficient, and resilient world.